I am your father.
This is a Brandon Colby Jacobs from Facebook exclusive.
And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Touche, my nigga. Touche.
Man, that was only 4 hours. It's gonna be a million times worse. Going all the way to Japan, bruh. Straight up. So, give an update. I made it to Vancouver, Canada. And I got a layover here. And from here, go to Japan. Long layover too. Oh boy, this is crazy. Just getting off the plane, man. I know it's like 1 o'clock in the morning back in Dallas, 2 o'clock in the morning where my parents are. I know nobody's gonna see this until probably in the morning, but I'm in Japan, bro. I've been trying to get here since I was 8 years old, and I'm actually here now. This is crazy. I'm finna go pick up my luggage and everything. What's going on, guys? So, finally in the hotel. Day one is in the books. Kinda, if you want to call it day one. I mean, most of the day was traveling, but, you know, whatever. What I can say from the little bit that I've seen so far is that there's definitely a cultural difference. There's definitely a politeness. There's definitely a busyness to the whole place. I mean, you guys got to see all the pictures and everything like that of the airport. Had the layover in Vancouver. Vancouver was very cool. Getting to see what little bit I could see from the airport. You know, that was cool. What I was surprised by was that the actual flight from Vancouver to Tokyo was only 9 hours. But we get on the plane and find out that there is no internet. So that's why you guys didn't hear from me at all during the entire trip. Because to be honest with you, I mean, there was no internet. So, but the cool thing is they had a lot of cool movies that I probably wouldn't have watched any other time. I sat down and watched King Arthur, the one that came out like earlier this summer. And to be honest with you, it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. You know, people made it seem like it was the worst movie ever, and it really wasn't. There was something else that I was watching too, that came out this summer that everybody was like, "That's terrible, don't go watch it." And I watched it, and I was like, "That's not really that bad." I mean, you got to put it in its proper perspective. I think we have a certain level of entitlement when it comes to movies now, but the food was trash. I'm just gonna lay that out quite flat. The food was horrendous. Did not enjoy the food at all. But I got here, and you guys saw me get off the plane, saw me take the picture in front of the Welcome to Japan sign and all that kind of stuff. And getting on, the biggest challenge that I had was trying to figure out like what transportation I was going to take to Tokyo, because I was at the Narita airport, which is almost an hour away from Tokyo. So I was kind of like, damn, like, well, where do I go? Like, cause you have like 50 million different decisions that you can make. You can take a limo, you can take a bus, you can do like you can get what's called a Suica card, and you can kind of like follow the standard subway thing, or you can take the bullet train or whatever, which is like the JR Express. I ended up taking that. That cost, I don't know, round trip, because I got it set up for round trip. Round trip was probably like $40 or something like that in American dollars. But I had to go to a 7-Eleven ATM, use my card to withdraw money, and when I withdrew the money, it brought it out in yen. So that was cool. It's cool looking at. This is yen. So I got some hot yen out. You know what I'm saying? Big money heavyweight, like 1,000 really ain't a whole lot here. Like, so I got that out. Got on the train and got here, and I ended up taking. I got off at the Shibuya exit, and I think that probably wasn't. I think that probably wasn't a good idea, because when I got off at the Shibuya exit, it was almost like chaos, like complete madness. But one thing I will say that came in handy was I watched a bunch of videos, and everybody said if you look lost, Japanese are such nice people that they will go out of their way to try to help you. And I was completely lost in this big ass subway terminal, completely lost. And this older Japanese gentleman just walks up and goes, "You need help?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's trying to help me, and he barely speaks English. Like, it was the nicest thing in the world. So shout out to him. I didn't get his name. There was very little like ability to adequately communicate, because I don't know his language. He knows a little bit of mine. But he helped me find somebody that could help me and got me out of there. The problem is that apparently there's something going on with my Uber account. So my Uber account isn't working right now. I've got to figure that out. I don't know if I need to have my MasterCard attached to it or what. But I have my Visa attached to it, and that's not working. So I've got to find another way in order to get my Uber set up so that I'm good on that front. I did end up downloading the taxi app, but from the Shibuya station, because there's like 50 million people in this fucking city, I could not use the app to get a taxi. Plus, it's raining. So it was just the fucking worst. So imagine my poor little black ass out there trying to hail a taxi, which I'm from the South. Like, we don't fucking hail taxis. Like, that's not what we do. We get in an Uber and we ride out or something like that. So just the whole process of trying to hail a taxi was a process in and of itself. But finally got one. Got here to the hotel. I'll show you guys the room. Y'all don't be looking at my feet now. My feet ashy. So this is the bed. It's got the tiny little desk. Oh, they gave me this water. That was dope. They gave me this nice water when I came in. I'm right by the baseball stadium, the baseball stadium is apparently, oh wow, they lit it up. Okay. So the baseball stadium's lit up now. So that's kind of a big deal. I think that's the practice facility over there. Like, they're huge on baseball in Japan. Like, it's like a fucking religion here. But the room isn't that big. But it's more than enough for me and what I'm gonna do. You have to stick your card in here in order to get the lights to come on. And I came in here and I looked around and I was like, all right, where the fuck is the toilet? Right? So it's like, where the hell is the toilet? I'm like, where the hell is the toilet? So I'm walking around here and then I saw this. So I was like, okay, all right. So then I was like, well, this is new. Holy shit! Oh man, I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life. But apparently they have all these different options for toilets. Japanese have way too much time on their hands when it comes to this toilet thing. But I'm sure the ladies can appreciate that. The water on your butt. So, I mean, that's the room, man. I wasn't gonna go out and get something to eat and do some stuff, but I'm like, yo, I've been traveling all day. I think I'm finna call it a night. I'll let you guys know what's going on tomorrow. Matter of fact, tomorrow is the Tokyo Gaming Show, which is what I came here for. So got to get some Z's. I guess I need to go ahead and start planning out my trip now to get down there to the gaming show. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. 俺らの音楽はライフライみんなで朝までハイハイ新曲は聴かせる毎回仲間が揺れてる流してるもう一回変わらね仲間と遊び方既存のルールなんて知らねえ I don't give a fuck 変わらね仲間と遊び方この音楽が一番かっこいいから Shibuya all the way east to where the Tokyo Gaming Show is going to be at. It is 9:40 right now here in Tokyo, and yeah, so not a whole lot's open, but there's a bunch of people already out and moving around. I'm guessing they're going to work or whatever the case might be. Yeah, so a bunch of people coming out of there. So some of them probably going to the expo. Obviously it's about a 3-minute walk according to my GPS. About a 3-minute walk from here to there. So I have not eaten all day, so I'm gonna try to find some food somewhere. Not exactly sure where, but we'll get it figured out. So, there's been a bit of a communication barrier, but not too terrible. Folks are tremendously friendly, so they go out of their way to try to help you if they can, even if they don't necessarily speak English, which they shouldn't have to. I mean, I should know Japanese, so it's all good. I'm not tripping. This will probably be the farthest I have to go for the rest of the time I'm here. The rest of the time, I can use my subway card that I just bought and pretty much get wherever I need to go. So this was the most connections and all that kind of stuff that I was gonna have to do. So now that that's out of the way, I should be fine moving forward. We'll see. But I guess I better go find myself something to eat before I die of starvation. Not exactly sure where I'm gonna get it from, and hoping and praying somebody has a fork and not some fucking chopsticks, because I'm gonna be around this bitch looking crazy as hell trying to hold some chopsticks, embarrassing the fuck out of myself. So other than that, that's all I got, guys. I will see y'all when I get to the gaming show.
Unorthodox.
We live, baby. It's crowded as fuck though, but we live, baby. Yeah, we at the Tokyo Gaming Show, baby. Look at all these people, baby.
so it's gonna be kind of hard to walk around all these people and do video at the same time, but it is bananas. Let y'all see this real quick. And that's just like, that's one section. There's another section that's this big over on the other side, man. This shit is crazy. This is like nothing I've ever seen before. Like, I'm sure, like, I ain't never been to E3, but if any E3 is anything like this, man, look at this shit here. They got a tournament going on right now for Marvel vs. Capcom.
そうですね、喋りながらですけど、入りづらいですから、じゃあ僕この辺座りましょう。大丈夫ですか？後ろに来てると、まだ出るんで、つけてくださいね。顔つけて、はい。じゃあお客さん。
It's crazy right now. They finna do it real big out here, man. Tokyo Gaming Show 2017, man. I'm here. This is bananas. I have photos, I have videos later, post them on Instagram, put it all together. We'll do a little cool ass blog and give y'all an update at the end of the night. Until then, Brandon Kobe Jacobs, I'm out. Alright, man, so day two is in the books, and I mean, it was cool. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I got up, well, like, my sleep schedule is still a little off, so I'm still trying to kind of find that right spot or that right groove where I go to sleep and I wake up, because it's still a little awkward right now. So I like, obviously, like, when I got here, I went to sleep, and then I got up again and all of that. But then I got up again probably about 6 o'clock in the morning, Japan time, after being up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So I got up about 6 o'clock in the morning, Japan time. And I knew I needed to be to the video game expo at 10, but I wasn't entirely sure how to get there. So I started the process of like, well, let me go ahead and plan this shit out now. So, you know what I'm saying, I know where I'm going and all this kind of stuff. So I went ahead and I left. At that point, tried to call a taxi. The dude couldn't find me. It was a whole big process. So I was like, all right, I'm finna skip out on this shit. And I ended up walking to the subway station. I walked to the subway station, got there, didn't have a subway card, so didn't know how I was going to get where I was going and all this kind of stuff. Used my Google Translate to talk to the administrator that worked at the information desk. He got me a subway card. We put 2,000 yen on there. And then, what did I do? And so then he directed me, like, he basically, like, circled all the spots that I needed to go to. And everybody had told me that it was, like, really hard as far as the whole subway situation is concerned to try to figure it out and get where you need to go and all this kind of stuff. But it's really not that hard. Like, you just don't need to overthink it. And so when he circled all of the spots, he was like, go here, go here, go here, go here. Like, I started looking at the map and I was like, okay, so the colors changed. So obviously I need to get off the train that I'm on and go to, you know, another train in order to get on that line to continue on my path to get to where I'm trying to go. So it honestly was not that bad. I ended up figuring it all out. And you know, I got lost when I had to change over from the subway station to the JR line, which is an above ground train. That was a little confusing. But even with that, like, once I realized, like, okay, there's two trains and they split off, one going north and one going south, you know, I started going north when I needed to go south. So I just got off on the next north exit. I had to get with the information person to find out when the next south train was coming. He didn't speak any English, but we got it figured out. He gave me a little sheet of paper that said 12 and then what the American time was, because I think he didn't know that I knew the 24-hour clock. So he gives me that. And I made it down to where I needed to make it down to for the Tokyo Gaming Show. So I get down to the Tokyo Gaming Show, and I didn't know, like, I thought that this was the only thing down there. It's called, like, Messe, something or other. But basically, like, it's like this huge auditorium where they do, like, major events, like gaming expos and all that kind of stuff. So I get down there, and where I got off at, like, there's a fucking mall there. Like, I mean, like, this huge outdoor mall, like, all the shit that you think that we have in America, they have here. They have Gap, they have Nike, they have all of that shit. They had a pizza place that was opening at 10 o'clock. They had all of that stuff. So, contrary to popular belief, like, you know, it is very Americanized here. It is not like, it's not like this, oh, thank you very much. Like, there's some of that here. You know what I'm saying? Don't get that fucked up. They're very traditionalist in that respect. But there's a lot of American shit here. So, like, there's a Burger Shack here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have Sprite, they have Coke. The shit all tastes the same. What else? So I went to, like, the equivalent of, like, their 7-Eleven or whatever. I got some chips that I haven't eaten yet. I got a Coke. I found a Burger King. Because I want to try their food. Like, I legitimately do. The problem is that I'm terrible with chopsticks. And I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy that's in a traditional Japanese restaurant trying to eat ramen, and I'm asking for a fucking fork. Like, I don't want to be that guy. So, I've got the Burger King, got myself something to eat. They have, like, pictures of what you want. You can do it based off the pictures. I did it based off the pictures. And I went on about my business. So it was cool. Got to the gaming show. Gaming show was amazing. Only problem was there's so many people there. You really don't get an opportunity to play anything. That's unfortunate because, like, I was ready to play Final Fantasy, the new Final Fantasy game that's coming out, and Assassin's Creed Origin, but the lines are ridiculously long. And I got there. I mean, like, the line to get in is massive. If you go on my Facebook and my Instagram, you'll see, like, oh, okay, yeah, those lines were long as shit outside, but they actually moved very quick. Like, it was probably like 45 minutes before I was actually inside. But even with that, it's still, like, the lines inside for, like, actually, like, playing the games was, like, ridiculously long. And don't get me started on Street Fighter. Like, they fucking love their Street Fighter here. They are all about Ryu here, like, straight up. So the lines were just ridiculously long. So, you know, I kind of walked around. I took pictures. I picked up product and stuff like that. And, you know, then I was like, well, let me get out of here before I get stuck in the crowd trying to get back. And it was pretty quiet and pretty quaint. That's the other thing. On the subways, you're not supposed to talk. And you're not supposed to talk you're not supposed to talk on your phone. You can be on your phone can be on silent. You can text. You can play games. You can do whatever you want to do on your phone except for, like, have a full-on conversation. Like, you look like you fucking talking to yourself. Like how we do in America. They ain't going for that shit here. So, outside of that, I got back here. I went to sleep again after I kind of, like, my room is right by a baseball stadium, so there was a game going on. So from my window, I can literally, like, look at the game. So I kind of sat in my window and just kind of looked and watched the game for a little while. It was a college baseball game. The guys downstairs that work at the front desk told me about it. I went to sleep. I got up and was like, yo, I need to stop bullshitting, because I was finna drag my feet and not go to Club Harlem when I said I was going to Club Harlem. So I went ahead and got my ass up, put on a polo, and went over to Club Harlem. And I get there, and, I mean, they're not like the thing is they used to seeing black folks over in Shibuya, so it's not that big a deal. They see me, everything's cool. I ended up being in the wrong line for a club next door, which doesn't allow people with these. So another place that I'm not allowed to go into. But Club Harlem is so hip hop, like they're like, yeah, come on. It was 1,000 yen to get in, so I get in. They give me a drink ticket. My first drink was free. I just got a beer, nothing crazy or anything like that. Because I wasn't trying to get drunk in Japan and don't fucking know how to get back to my hotel. Like that's not what's hot in the street. So I did that. That was weird because the music that they listen to is completely, well, I don't want to say completely different. Like, it's definitely throwback for us, for real. Like, I'm talking about, like, they went all the way to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to, you know, Get Money. You know what I'm saying? They play Biggie Smalls, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, because the theme of the club is kind of, like, driven around Harlem. But, like, they played 1-2 Step by Sierra and the club went bananas. Like, I mean, like, they lost their shit. I was like, I don't even think we lost our shit when that shit was new. You know what I'm saying? They played Best I Ever Had by Drake. Completely lost their shit. Look, bro, like, I don't know. I can't explain it. You know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so, that was cool. Had a good time there. The weirdest thing was when I was trying to leave, there was a girl that was kind of blocking my way. And I kind of been hesitant to touch people because all the YouTube videos and stuff like that I saw, you know, made mention of like being careful when you touch women here and that kind of stuff or whatever. But I literally hit her with a club move and I grabbed her around the waist and started pressing to kind of move her to the side. And she turned her head and she saw that I was black. And y'all, she leaned back into my arms and grabbed the side of my face. You know, like how a person's like leaning, and she grabbed the side of my face, and I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, okay, this is one of them parties. So apparently they do Asian women in Shibuya, the western ward of Tokyo, like black dudes, like for real, like, which is, I guess, is obvious because like most of the security's black, like, you know, so like they used to seeing black dudes in those types of situations. But so I got another taxi, I got home, or we got back to the hotel, and when I was coming up, the crazy part was that like you occasionally like I've seen a couple of spots of like, I don't want to say if it's racism. They might just be uncomfortable because, you know, even though people in Shibuya know us, I'm staying in Shinjuku. And I'm not entirely sure that everybody here has seen a black person in Shinjuku. Because, like, just for clarification purposes, like Shibuya, which is the western ward, is closer to the Navy base than the Navy base where the Americans are than any other ward in Tokyo. So you're more likely from the Shibuya ward to see black people, not to mention that is also where the majority of the colleges and universities are. So black people from London, black people from Jamaica, black people from Trinidad, black people from Africa tend to, when they come, they converge over there. And they kind of like centralize and kind of make their way over there. So that's generally where you're going to see black people. So just about any other ward, you won't see black people. So I got back to Shinjuku, and I get in the hotel, and I get in the elevator, and there's a couple that's walking up. And I did what anybody would do when you like walking into the elevator and you see somebody else walking up. I held the elevator. These motherfuckers was finna wait on another elevator. Like, I literally stuck my head out the door and go konnichiwa. And so she goes, konnichiwa. And the dude bowed his head, like, he didn't even say, like, hello, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but she was polite. And so I motioned because I don't know enough Japanese to tell them, hey, come on and get in the elevator with me. It's fine. So I adjusted or whatever, a way for him to come in. And so they start walking in, and the dude kind of grabbed her arm a little bit. And I looked down, and I looked them in the eyes, And then he bowed his head and then got in the damn elevator. I was like, why I gotta be all that, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the gripe? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fucking get on the elevator with me, bro? Come on, man. But he got on the elevator. You know what I'm saying? Everything ended up being all cool. When they got off, I said, oh, they got the, you know, just to be polite. I mean, using a little bit of Japanese that I learned while I've been here. So, I mean, now I'm back in the room. And so that's day 2. Day 3, hopefully I can actually follow. Nah, I'm not going to take that man girl. I will say, though, that one thing that I've also noticed here is that the stat, like, I'm not tall at all. All y'all who know me know that. I'm not tall by a long shot. But I'm much broader than, I guess, like, the normal male walking around. So, like, my shoulders, like, they sit a lot wider than the guys here. And so when I start walking towards people, or when I turn my shoulder to like lean in to try to get in between people, like, it's amazing how quickly people move to get the fuck out of my way. You know what I'm saying? And you know, there's little weird things I think I noticed on the subway, like certain people didn't want to sit too close to me and stuff like that. But I had been told that Japanese are like that, and it's more, from what I'm told, it's more about being foreign than it is about being black. Not saying that it's not because I'm black, but I mean, the vast majority of videos that I watched before I came here were indicative of they can sometimes be a little discriminatory, not racist, discriminatory towards foreigners. But even in that, like, people have been nice, tried to help, been polite, all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to stereotype an entire group of people with a narrative when that has not been my entire experience. You know, I'm taking it more that there are people who are assholes in this world, and then there are nice people in this world. You know, I don't want to go, you know, vastly stereotyping and being on some shit like, yo, all the Japanese racist as fuck, they don't like niggas, da 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 da. Like, because I don't think that. So that was day 2. Day 2 is in the books. Hopefully, I will get more sightseeing done tomorrow. Because now that I'm done with the Tokyo Gaming Show, I don't have like this big thing that I have to do. So I can literally just kind of follow my itinerary that I had written up and try to go hit some spots up. So hopefully you guys will get a lot more pictures tomorrow of a variety of different spots instead of just one location. And as I've done the last 2 days, I will give you an update tomorrow. All right, peace.
What's up, IG? Just left Super Potato, one of the most renowned retro gaming stores here in Tokyo. It was amazing. It's about 3 stories. It's inside a building with a couple of other places, but absolutely massive. Really disappointed because they had Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance, the original copy, not one of those jerk-off versions that we have in America, one of the original versions. And I want to get it real bad, but I thought it'd be irresponsible to buy it because it's like, well, what am I going to do with it? Because I buy a Game Boy Advance because you got to buy it from here so that it plays the Japanese game. And then what else would I do with it? Plus, I can't read Japanese, so wouldn't really make real good sense. But got a picture of it, appreciate it. Time to move on. Check out Gamers. Headed over there now. What's going on, man? I'm gonna take these off because I'm mad tired. So, day 3 is in the books, and now you see I'm in the bed because I'm so tired. But yeah, today was a cool day. It was one day that obviously I didn't have some massive thing planned that I had to do. It made life a lot easier to just kind of be able to go out and just kind of see things without any real issues or anything like that. What I will say is that I've gotten even better about being able to use the subway. I had maybe one problem, but I didn't even really have to ask anybody. I sort of figured it out on my own. Between using my map and just kind of looking at the colors, I was able to figure it out on my own. So proud to say I'm now able to maneuver my way, for the most part, around Tokyo without any problems. And I mean, I went all the way to North Tokyo. I got up about 6 o'clock in the morning, got dressed, probably left here about 7. And I went north to the Tokyo Dome. I wanted to go there because I'm a huge wrestling fan, for those of you who don't know. And I wanted to see where Wrestle Kingdom takes place. So I was up there, and I mean, obviously it wasn't open or anything like that. That's also where the Tokyo Giants is, what I think the name of the team is. The baseball team plays. So, and the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame is up there as well. So I got up there, walked around, took some photos, checked out. They actually have a Bubba Gump here, so check that out, which was cool. Was able to go in Starbucks and order a caramel frappuccino, extra caramel, on my own without anybody having to help me. So that was cool. I was proud of myself for that. I think the young lady probably giggled because I probably got something wrong in trying to say the whole phrase on my own. But she respected it enough, and she was able to give me what I asked for. Don't ask me to repeat it because I had to like memorize it, or keep saying it over like 10 times before I went in there, and tried to do it on my own. But pulled it off. She understood, and we made it do what it do. From there, I just kind of traveled around. I bounced from there. Where did I go next? What's on my list? Oh, I went to Akihabara. I think that's Akihabara. Yeah, Akihabara. And hit up basically that's the video game district. That's kind of where you go, if you're a huge anime fan, if you're a big gaming person, you're gonna go up there to try to check out the scene as far as that's concerned. Sega has a huge presence in that area. They have multiple arcades. I went to a place called Super Potato, which is like this highly regarded holy grail of retro gaming place. Check that out. Found Mother 3, for those of you who are gamers at all. That is the third installment of Earthbound. That is only available in the States, I believe, in a bootleg format that you can kind of download online. And was translated by a person who just appreciated the game. Found it there. It wasn't that expensive, but I don't have a Game Boy Advance, so I would have had to have purchased a Game Boy Advance, then purchased the game, and that would have been the only game that I could ever play on that Game Boy Advance, because the Game Boy Advance is still set up to where they have to where you have to have Japanese games on that Game Boy Advance if you bought it in Japan, and the serial number and all of the pieces and stuff are registered for Japan. So obviously I didn't do that, even no matter how much I wanted to do it. And plus I can't speak Japanese, so I would have struggled to make it through the game not being able to speak the language or read the language rather. So that would have been challenging. Went to the video game, the arcades and stuff like that. I played Super Mario Brothers, the first one.
on an arcade machine. That was interesting. It's kind of weird doing the controls with like the stick and the 2 buttons like that. Like, it's just a weird way. I'm used to holding the controller and playing that game. From there, I went, I made up some stuff that I was supposed to do in Shibuya when I first got here, because I ended up getting in so late. So I made my way up to Shibuya today. I made sure I hit up Shibuya 109. They have 2 versions of it, which my taxi sent me to the one for the women. So I ended up having to walk across the street to the one that's for men. That was cool. They got a whole bunch of shit that I can't fit, which just means I need to lose weight. Because everybody here is so fucking small. Like, they do have XLs, but like they don't have 2X, and I'm way into a 2X right now. So that's just one of them lessons that if I want to come back here and I want to shop, I'm going to have to lose some weight, which is cool. I'm working on that now. So no harm, no foul. I made sure I hit up Tower Records, which was cool, which goes back to what I tell all my friends who are still in the music industry. Contrary to what you might think, because the rest of the world has changed and we're not big on physical copies and anything like that anymore, they are huge on that here. And I said that to some of my hip-hop friends when I was making suggestions about them coming over here yesterday, when I called some of them. Like, truly, genuinely, like, this is a place where they still big on passing out flyers. They still big on physical material, like all of that kind of stuff. They still really big on that kind of thing here. So if you're a music person and you're interested in making some money in Japan, I strongly encourage you to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, you come over here with some promotional material, because they still big on passing out flyers. They're able to come in the club with bags and things like that. So they love to put stuff in their book bags and take it home with them, and they love to identify with American culture. So I hit up all of those spots. That was cool. I'll show you my list here. I had a to-do list, and for the most part, I've hit everything. As you can see, the shrine in Innergarten, I didn't hit that. This other spot that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce in Shibuya, I missed that. The Imperial Palace, I missed that. The zoo, I missed that. And then really, I've only got this stuff here, which I'll hit this up later on in Shinjuku to get something to eat. So I'll hit that up. And then I've got these few little things that I need to do tomorrow. But I'm proud of myself, because for the most part, I was able to get everything that I said I wanted to do. I was able to get it done. And I was able to really see this place for what it actually is. And contrary to what everybody kept saying about it being, it's so expensive to be here, it's so expensive to be here, I've maybe taken out $300, and I've still probably got like $150, $160 left. So I haven't spent very much, but I also wasn't buying like a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I didn't come here for that. I came here for the Video Game Expo, which I paid for that ticket before I left. And I just came here to see the sights. And again, the vast majority of the things that I wanted to see are free anyway. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to be a part of the experience. And one thing that I have found that has been so revealing for me being here is, number one, I know how to be polite. Like, super polite. And number two, I've learned how to be quiet. Like, for those of you who don't know, the Japanese, you know, their voices are very low. They don't raise their voices very much. If you start raising your voice, they start getting nervous and they kind of back up and stuff like that. I can kind of, you know, I tempered myself and tempered my tone, and the ability to not be able to communicate much, to pretty much have konnichiwa for my hi, which is probably the general term, but it's not like good morning, good afternoon. I haven't mastered those terms. So konnichiwa, arigato, thank you, and one that I'm still learning, sumimasen. That means excuse me. I kind of fucked that one up a couple of times, but sumimasen. That's important for, obviously, if you're at a restaurant and you're trying to get someone's attention. If you bump into somebody, which they be quick to
like you almost killed them when you bump into somebody here. So they kind of get caught off guard, especially like when you, like, it's one thing like when they're out, when the Japanese are kind of like out at crosswalks and things like that. Like that's one thing because everybody's just gonna run into each other. But like if, you know, it's just kind of, it's a lot of space in between people and you having to make contact with somebody, they will be shocked, and you just have to kind of be prepared for that. Other than that, it's been completely cool. I'm still enjoying myself. I've got tomorrow to do some more sightseeing, go see Rainbow Bridge, all of that kind of stuff, their version of the Statue of Liberty, all of that. So I'm excited to do that. That's it, man. One more major day. Obviously, I'm gonna be flying back on Tuesday, so one more major day in Japan, all by myself doing stuff. And then Tuesday, I might be able to hit a couple of things before I have to head up to Narita to go to the airport. But other than that, man, it's been a blast. I'm having a great time. I have nothing to complain about. This has been truly a blessing to be able to go across the world and see, you know, just how somebody else is operating. And it's really been an experience to not know the language and be able to maneuver my way around without very little issues. I've learned the taxi system. I've learned how to hail a taxi. I've learned how to move around through the subway. I've learned the above ground trains, and I did all of that in a matter of 2 days. So, I mean, if this is something that you think you might want to do, if this is a place that you think you want to go, and really, if you want to go anywhere else, I strongly encourage you to do so. I mean, there is, I'm not going to front, there is a high alert. I did see notice of the high alert, but nobody around here is walking around like they're afraid of North Korea. Like, I mean, like the guy from North Korea, his photo is on a lot of the newspapers. I just kind of see that as I'm looking at other people reading newspapers on the subway. So, I mean, like, he's clearly being discussed here, but there's not a sense of fear. Like, I don't get that. Like, there's still millions of people moving backwards and forwards throughout this city on a day in, day out basis. And no one seems to be all that intimidated or fearful of the Kim Jong-un, I think is this one, because there used to be Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un. No one seems to be too terribly fearful of him. So don't let the news media dictate to you what's actually going on other sides of the world. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to go see for yourself. I mean, you want to be cautious. You want to be mindful of what things are, but don't let everybody scare you into just not seeing the rest of the world, especially black folks. We spend so much time in our neighborhoods and stuff like that. We don't get to see other parts of the world, and we don't become more well-rounded people. I feel like the next time I see a Japanese person in America, I know how to conduct myself a little bit better and a little bit more polite. Not because I owe them that, but you know, you want to try to be respectful and meet people where they are. You know, so I think that this has really opened my eyes into how to interact with another group of people, another culture, and do so in a way that doesn't, you know, I'm not imposing on them in any negative way. So that's cool. That would be Vietnam, Marcus. God, you're racist. So that's all I got, man. One more major day, and then of course I got Tuesday with a couple of things that I'll do before I get on the plane. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys are having a good time doing whatever you're doing. If you're out at the club, don't drink too much, and I will catch you guys later. I'm out. What up? All my folks back in the U.S., man. As you can see, it is early in the morning here in Japan. Man, this place is amazing, man. I am having the best time just kind of being silent, taking in the whole ambiance, you know, watching people watch me. You know what I'm saying? They're like, who is this guy? Why does he have on, why is he rocking those gym clothes in the day? You know, why does he have on a cut-off hoodie and a shirt up under it? He's a weirdo. What's going on? But nonetheless, I'm here, man. I'm taking in the ambiance, just observing everything that's going on, and it's amazing. It's beautiful to see. I I'm not finna go get in this sand, mainly because I see these cones out here. I'm not entirely sure what that means. That being said, that right there apparently is the Rainbow Bridge. At nighttime it lights up and it's multicolored and it looks amazing and everything like that, but it's even beautiful during the day. What I'm headed to is, I don't know if you can see it, down there is their version of the Statue of Liberty. So I'm gonna head down there, check that out. I'm gonna get a couple of little landscape pictures and things like that, just so that I have some stuff to remember coming out here, post it in my my photo album, and then we're gonna go from there, man. I hope you guys are having a great time in America, man. I am having a blast in Japan. Wish you guys were here. Hey man, I'll give you an update later on this evening, man. You know what I'm saying? Peace out. Well, y'all, I'm out here trying to maneuver my way through all of this. This is crazy. It's crazy packed out here, but yeah. And just think about it like this, like usually it's the most packed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. We're into the afternoon or the early morning rather right now. So it's unbelievable how packed this place is. But awesome place to check out if you're in Tokyo, man. I strongly encourage you to come out here, man. I've just about covered my whole list, man. Hold on, Janelle. Is that better? My friend Janelle was asking me about the seafood and everything. It's crazy. So, again, pretty cool place to check out. Amazing meats, amazing vegetables, tons of seafood all over the place, tons of little small hole-in-the-wall spots that are selling sushi and Kobe beef, and I think it's I always say that wrong, Wagyu or something like that. So, but it's crazy. So, great place to check out, man. Make sure you check it out if you get a chance to. Peace. What's going on, y'all? I'm sorry I'm a bit late. I fucked around and fell asleep. Day 4 from Japan. I actually got a whole lot done. It's actually Tuesday here now, so I'm doing my Monday one a little bit late. What I can tell you guys is that I really have enjoyed myself being here. The ability to kind of just get up, kind of go see things, do my own thing, kind of travel around has been hugely satisfying. I got up about 6 o'clock in the morning, got dressed, and I headed out to their version of the Eiffel Tower called the Tokyo Tower. I headed down there. That's like south. And then from there, I took a taxi. There's a raggedy taxi. The one thing I will say about the cars here is, like, you'll be surprised how many old ass cars they have here that run extremely well. Like, I'm talking about like Toyotas that you saw in like 91, 92, 93. You know what I'm saying? Before body shapes changed at all. are just running around here, and they're running well. So I don't know if it's because parts are cheap and it's much easier to replace or what it is, but like they've got tons of old ass cars just running around here as taxis. But so Tokyo Tower was absolutely amazing. It's massive. I did not take any pictures from inside Tokyo Tower because it didn't open until 9. Actually, later on today, I'll be going over to a spot in Shinjuku, which is free because you got to pay for Tokyo Tower. Not because I don't have the money for it, but they said you could get amazing views, from this place. It's free. So I was like, well, I'll go check that out. But I didn't get a chance to get over there yesterday. So I'll be doing that today before I leave. Got pictures at Tokyo Tower. Then took a taxi from there to this park that basically is like a beach that runs around the south bend of Tokyo, right around the bay. And there's a live video that I did from there. Walked down through there, walked through the park, took some pictures at their version of the Statue of Liberty, which is significantly smaller than ours, but it's like a replica of it that they have here that's stored here in Tokyo. So took some pictures there, got on the light rail train to come back into the city, and went down to the seafood market that they have, and it's massive. It's one of those things that like people get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to come to just see how the whole thing operates. But I got there during the day, and it was still a huge line, tons of people all over the place. Just an overall great experience. From there, golly, I think I pretty much had covered most of what I wanted to see. So I actually went back up over by the Tokyo Dome and went and got some food because I was like, yo, I've been struggling with these chopsticks. I'm tired of looking like an asshole. So I went to Bubba Gump's. They have Bubba Gump's here in Tokyo. All the food's the same. Everything's the same. They unfortunately don't have any sweet tea. They don't have any lemonade. They don't have that stuff. So I had to drink sodas. So that was a bit unfortunate. And probably today I'll probably hit the Capcom restaurant, which is themed around Capcom. I'll go take pictures at that spot in Shinjuku, and just kind of take in a few more things before it gets too late, because I mean it's in the middle of the night right now here, like probably like the equivalent of like 1 a.m. and so I mean like, and I'm not going to the club tonight. I just couldn't do it. So I'll probably just kind of, hit a couple of spots before it gets to be around noontime, because even though my flight leaves at 5 this time, I don't want to run the risk of, some sort of hiccup happening from a transportation standpoint and me not being over by Narita, which is an hour away. So when I plan that out, I have to, basically anything that I'm going to do still here, I have to do before noon this time. I need to get back to the hotel by noon, because I'm probably going to store my stuff downstairs with them. And then I probably need to start heading towards the airport around noon and just kind of chill and kick it around there. And then from there, that's where I'll do my final video, kind of summing up my experience. And yeah, but I can say I've had a blast, but I'll go in more depth with that later. So, be on the lookout for the final video, guys. And then you'll see me put all this stuff together when I get back in the States. All right. Peace.
What's going on, Instagram? It's your boy Brandon Kobe Jacobs. I'm 33 years old, and when I was 8 years old, I said I wanted to come to Japan. I said every year until I was about 18, 19 years old that I was going to come to Japan. It took me 24 years. Today's my last day in Japan. So I say all that to say this. When you dream, don't let anybody tell you you can't get what you need to get done. It might take some time. It might take some hard work. You might have some trials and tribulations, but you know what? If you believe you can do something, you can do anything you set your mind to. I did. I made it to Japan. Boy, so back from Japan. I apologize, y'all. I know I told everybody I was gonna do my overall summary when I got into the airport, but it was just a complete clusterfuck when I got to the airport. Not because I wasn't there in a timely fashion or anything like that. I actually had my flight didn't leave until 1700, 5 o'clock. But there were so many children there just crying and a variety of other things. I didn't think that it would be, the sound just wouldn't come off right if I had all of that playing in the background. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just wait till I get back. Because the other thing is on the international flight, I did not have internet. So I was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just the absolute worst. But what I can say, my overall experience and feelings about Japan really boils down to one key concept, and it's not about you. Now, what do I mean when I say that? What I learned while I was in Japan, above all else, which I got to see a variety of things. I got to see shrines and mosques and all this other kind of really cool stuff. I got to see people in their own environments. I got to travel on the Tokyo subway. I got to see all of those really cool things. I got to see basically the video game district. I got to see the club district. I got to see the high fashion district. All of those things I got to see in Tokyo. But at the core of what I noticed, it breaks down into one key concept, and that concept is it's not about you. And again, what I mean when I say it's not about you is there's a fundamental difference in the Japanese approach to interpersonal relationships, what they view to be courteous and polite, and just how you should go about conducting yourself. What I learned while I was over there is that really their culture is such that you're always considerate of how you conduct yourself, what you say and what you do, how that might affect someone else. And that is drastically different from the American approach, because we are inherently a selfish group of people. We're concerned about how things make us feel, how people impact us, all those kinds of things. And they're very much so not like that. Not to say that there aren't people that live there that aren't like that. I'm sure that there are. But just kind of like as a collective, the philosophy is more indicative of do what you can to minimize the amount of how you impact other people, essentially. I was talking to someone over there, and they were essentially explaining to me, like, even in a car accident, the way that you should approach things is such that, say there's an accident and someone hits you. You know what I'm saying? What would normally happen here in America is we would expect the person who hit us to get out of the car, ask if we're okay, and establish, accountability for causing the accident. It's not like that there. I mean, obviously the person responsible is held responsible for actually causing the accident from a monetary standpoint. But at the same time, you both are expected to get out of the car, ask if the other person is okay, both apologize for any inconvenience you may have caused each other in this situation. And sometimes even you extend a get well card on both ends, regardless of whether or not you are the person that was responsible. There's this inherent sense of it's not about you again, even in the subways. They do not talk on their cell phones when they're on the trains going throughout Tokyo. And it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's a very quiet experience with hundreds of thousands of people going in and out of the city, traveling all over the place, and all of this kind of stuff. But can you imagine hundreds of thousands of people going all over the place throughout the city all day long, and no one is talking on the phone in the subway? It's the craziest thing in the world, because, in America, we just talk on our phones and we just, fuck what anybody else might have going on. Fuck the appropriateness of whether or not we should be having this conversation in front of all of these people. That we just have those conversations, and we walk and we talk on our headphones and all that kind of stuff. You don't do that there. I mean, it's just not something that you do. And because they don't do it in the subway, generally speaking, they don't do it on the sidewalk. And since they don't really do it on the sidewalk much, that lack of courteousness to being able to be attentive to what's going on around you very rarely happens. Now, do they walk and look at their cell phones like on Facebook or Instagram or something? They absolutely do that. So you could run the risk into running into somebody on that front. But other than that, there's no being distracted because you're talking on your phone or anything like that really in public. That's a very limited thing. If someone's talking on their phone in public, they generally are stationary in one spot making a phone call and have moved to the side. Obviously, it's amazing how little tiny differences are such huge things, over here relative to over there, or vice versa. Here, we tend to, on escalators, we tend to pass, we tend to stand on the right-hand side and pass on the left. Well, over there, they stand on the left side of an escalator or stairs, and they pass on the right. I know it seems like something so small, but because my brain was wired to do it one particular way, because I had kind of done it the same way all of the time, I had to kind of retrain my mind to do that. Every once in a while, I'd find myself standing on the side of the escalator where people were trying to get by and stuff like that. The biggest thing, I think I talked about this earlier on some other episodes, is probably the biggest thing that I think that I experienced where, I may have made a cultural hiccup, was I did place a to-go order for a pizza. And I did that not knowing that wasn't something that I was supposed to do in the hotel that I was in. There was no rule that I had seen anywhere, but apparently that was a thing that you just don't do. Generally speaking, the Japanese sit down, go somewhere, sit down, eat, or they're cooking at their homes, that kind of deal. Generally, to go isn't really a thing there for real. And if you are going to do it, you should do it at your home. You shouldn't do it at a hotel. So I ended up doing it. The guy didn't come in a timely fashion, and I messed around and I fell asleep. And apparently they had been calling me, but the number that they were calling me from was showing up as Brazil, so I didn't answer it because I didn't know nobody from Brazil that would be calling me. So that happened, and eventually I ended up getting the phone call from them to my hotel room. And when I came downstairs to get the pizza, the lady very politely but very directly told me that wasn't something that I was supposed to have done. That was they don't usually do that. That's not okay. And I was like, wow. And I was very immediately apologetic about it, but at the same time, I felt really bad because I didn't know how to correct it. So probably about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I came back downstairs and asked the ladies at the front desk what I could do to apologize and show my sincerity for it, because I didn't want to be one of those typical Americans who just kind of goes, oh, well, you know, that's their problem. Oh, well, and keep it moving. And, you know, would scarves be appropriate? You know, flowers, and if so, what flowers show, you know, sincerity to apologize, that kind of deal. And she said that, you know, I didn't have to do that, because she said most Americans traditionally, when they make a cultural error, just flat out don't apologize, and they just keep on going. And she said, you know, I appreciate the sincerity to apologize at all. And so that ended up being corrected. She passed it along to everybody else who worked at the desk, and I apologize for any inconvenience I may have caused any of their staff from a behavior. And I mean, that might seem like something small and something trivial, like, oh, that's not necessary. But like in their culture, that goes a long way. It shows character in their culture. And, you know, like, I just found that to be tremendously dope, that, you know, that I was in an environment to where it wasn't just about me. You know, like even the volume of your voice, the you know, because in America we tend to be very animated and loud and boisterous in the way that we conduct ourselves. They're a lot more reserved, not scared, but just a lot more reserved, because they're considerate of how the volume of their voice could impact other people. You know, that's just understood. And I think one of the coolest things that probably happened to me was probably on the subway, where I'm on the subway, and I'm the only black person on the subway at this point. And I'm sitting down, and an elderly lady gets on the subway, and there's a Japanese man sitting next to me, and so the elderly woman was kind of looking for a seat, and he started to get up, and then I kind of like, you know, not aggressively, but I tapped him on the shoulder, and I stood up, and then I gave the woman my seat, and she was like, no, please take your seat back. And I was like, no, ma'am, I'm not from here, so the least that I can do is show the respect and give you my seat. And you know, the gentleman was like, no, I can get up. I was like, you're from here. This is your home. I'm a visitor. The least I can do is stand up. And I don't know, like I know, again, like that might seem trivial to most Americans, like what's the big deal? Like, why you ain't just let him get up? You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not about me. It's not about me. And I need to be considerate of the people around me. So if I learned nothing else while I was there, I learned that to be probably one of the greatest experiences that I learned, that I hope that I'm able to carry that on with me throughout the rest of my life. You know, obviously I'm in America, and, you know, a lot of things as far as American culture are going to probably come back to me once I'm here for a few more days. You know, I'm going to get acclimated back to life as it is here. But I really, truly enjoyed the experience. It's one that I want to have again. I may go to Osaka next year, or Hiroshima next year. I'm going to make an effort to learn more of the language so that I'm not as disabled as I was while I was there. But I'm excited about, you know, learning more about that culture, finding out more about it, and just being engaged in it. It's something that I think I may want to experience on a yearly basis for the rest of my life, because it just fills you up and makes you feel like a better person when you get to go over there and see how they respect each other. So that was my experience in Japan. Feel free to go through my photos. I'm going to kind of put together like an overall video with all of the stuff together, and then I'm going to release it on my podcast as well. It'll be on my YouTube channel too. If you want to hit me up, man, of course you can hit me up at Brandon Kobe Jacobs. You can hit me up on the podcast email, EST1984podcast. You can hit up the Instagram of the same name, EST1984 podcast, or the personal Instagram at Brandon Kobe Jacobs. I am Brandon Kobe Jacobs, and, you know, you've been listening to the Established 1984 podcast. Take care.